How are you? Great to see you again.
Great to see you, John. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, it's
Magic.
it's a it's a good time to be in D-Ream because this is on the go. It's not real till it's on vinyl, is it? Look at that there. Look at
Look at
that.
that. That is real.
It's
That's
real.
real.
It's funny now, in a way. I mean, it's something I often think of when an artist puts out a record. It's kind of not yours anymore now. Do you know what I mean? It belongs to everybody else once that's out there.
It'd be really
Yeah.
nice if it did belong to a lot of people.
Yeah.
We want it to belong to in the tens of thousands, but listen, it's gonna like any child, it's gonna take its chances, you know?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, it's great. I think, on first few listens, my favorite, which might surprise you, but I love this track. Tell it to my face. It's that intro.
That's one of my favorites. I know I always say this to people, that and Famous for Nothing for me. I love those songs.
Mm.
We've all got favorites, but I always say those two. Yeah, that's great.
I like Pedestal, but
Yep.
it's intensely personal. But no, it's good. It's good. Look, when we did it, Alan called it smorgasbord. Some of our more detractors would call it a cheese board. But it's got. We were talking about what kind of leads the sound. We don't sit down and design and say, "Oh, make one like Air by Moon Safari by Air," or make one that's like George Michael. The song kind of dictates what happens to the record. So the one when we had Funk You Up, it just made sense to take steal from Prince and steal from George Michael. It just made sense. It sounded right. It felt funky.
Yes.
There's a little bit of what someone's pointed out. The bass sounds like, what is it, Al?
Oh, another one bites the dust.
Yeah, well, it's along those lines. It's got the same three notes in this. It not necessarily the same notes in the same order, is it? Is that what they said? We're at a stage now where, if you listen to the Robin Thicke thing, that there's so much. Everyone's on each other's toes, trying to be individual, but you're gonna be beg, borrowing, and stealing,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah, of course, of course. And you can't help but be influenced by things, obviously, as well. I mean, there's that kind of laid back funk groove, which I like the D-Ream do as well. I mean, one of my probably told you this before, Peter. One of my favorite tracks from the first record was "So Long Moving On." That kind of side of D-Ream I love.
Yeah, that's got the
You and I have very similar opinions on Dream Records because
uh,
I love
it's
that
got
song.
a garage feel to it. We
Yeah,
were experimenting with the swing function in Logic, and when you go up to around the D area, it gives you that real sort of jazzy swing feel.
Yeah.
And yeah, so long moving on. That was interesting because I just bought one of those portable DAT recorders back in the day. It was like the
Wow.
first time they'd come. I think Sony made it,
Yeah.
and I recorded myself leaving my flat at the start with the keys and closing the door and walking out into the air and into the tube and into the studio that morning. And then we just threw that at the front of the record, just to like a vignette almost of it came from the soundtrack of a movie. But yeah, I love making things like that.
I was saying there, it's a great time to be in D-Ream with a new record out like this. And it's interesting though as well. Do you ever feel that sort of, I don't mean it's like a second chance because you've been making records throughout, but as you get older, things taste sweeter maybe now than they did because there was that element of you're thrust into something early on, and now you can kind
Mm.
of enjoy it, can't you? You enjoy it more now.
I think we don't have a major. Well, we have a label now, obviously, but not quite the major as before. As you get older, more just sensible. You can stand back a bit and just enjoy. We make music for ourselves more than obviously we want people to listen to it clearly, but we make it for ourselves, and we can sit back and sort of just admire handiwork almost, and just thinking, "Oh, that's great." And it would be nice, obviously, if people, buy it, make it sort of successful, so we can keep on doing it. Although
Yeah.
we would keep doing it anyway, as we have done for the last couple,
It
because it's what we love doing.
it has to move us,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't, then it's going to go into the record, and it's in there, and then it's also, as I said, that the songs lead the records, but then it's got songs on there that's love songs, love that's lost songs. It's got sexiness of Funk You Up, and then it's got the more anthemic stuff like Anthem for Change, and then Pedestal, which is intensely personal. It's just and all of those things we looked at them and we looked at them before, but they never made the grade or we weren't ready to work on them. And we've actually got 40 songs, or what the Beatles like to refer to as numbers,
Yeah.
knocking around that never made the cut. So it's a kind of it's a weird process where you kind of just start focusing in and say, well, that's the line now. We've got to draw it here. and then call that the album, because there's even one, Karma's Gonna Get You, that's not, that didn't make it, was the 13th track. And I don't think we stopped using Karma because we're not superstitious, are we, Al?
No, we were doing it live. We were playing it live. It's just when we were doing the playback, we did start off initially as a idea of doing a triple album. We had so many
Yeah.
songs, which is obviously insane. And when Sanity prevailed, we realised maybe we'll strip this back a wee bit and we'll keep some in the back
Make it
burner.
manageable. Yeah.
The track like Voices, which we've done live many times as well, that's a more dance track, but it just didn't sit with the album. So that's sitting there. And I know I played it to the label that, and they absolutely loved it. So we've got stuff there, yeah, that lots of it's just the most we've written, I think, ever in a short period of time together, especially.
Yeah, and you can't make that happen. Sure you can. That's just gonna come.
You can't force it. Anyone who works with their hands or work creatively, you can't force these things. Like with science, I suppose you've got set goals you can methodically work through. But with this stuff, we just had a little bit of momentum going from the last album, Open Hearts, Open Minds, and we just stayed on it writing. And John, when Alan comes over, he flies into Eglinton, and I pick him up, and we get down here, and we put in 10, 14-hour days. It's almost like having a residential studio, and we don't have the party to go to that night like we would have in London, or people making demands of your time. We just don't have the distractions.
Yeah.
So it's a very work-like ethic. The most we do is maybe have a walk on the beach to clear the air, but it's just all focused on the music.
Lovely. Up around there, Peter, it just made me think of the video shoot for Blame It On Me, which I was there, we were filming it. Do you remember
Yeah.
that day? Is that
Yes, yes, I do. There's probably 3 times as many people who claim to be at that video than there actually was on the day.
That's that's right. Yeah, I remember.
But
I remember it so
I've got
well.
a chance to meet most of them since I moved back in 2019. And it's good because I go up there now. I go up to my friend does Greencastle yoga, so I'm driving up there like twice a week, and I pass that very pier. And we had a gig over in Portrush that night.
I
I don't
remember.
know if you remember.
Yeah, that was great. I think the gig was in Kelly's that night or something, wasn't
That's
it? Was
right.
it?
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Well remembered. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. No, one thing that I always noticed about DREAM as well, and I'm sure it's, well, not even intentional from you guys, but it's just who you are, I suppose, that you'd such a firm footing in the club world, of course, but there were songs to back it up. It wasn't just grooves, but there were songs that meant things to people.
I think Pete was a songwriter essentially when I met him because I came from the clubs, and that's I think that so you got that thing joining. I love soul music anyway, so which is songs I loved and like back then I had this sort of garage sound. I actually liked songs back then. It's funny as I got older with DJing, certainly I played less vocals, but back then I liked songs, and that's what Pete did. So that's what Dream's always been. I don't think we did remixes, didn't we? The dance side of things. We did the remix, and that we itched, we scratched that itch when we did a remix. But
Yeah.
essentially the first track we did would be the song. I mean, Best Thing was still about 7 minutes long. Don't be wrong. So there's plenty
Yeah.
of instrumentation in it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
a good quality song with a decent bit of dance music, you can't beat it.
Let me take you back to a remix, actually, and your thoughts on this. The remix of Duran Duran's Drowning Man.
My
Oh
favorite
wow.
we ever did, to be honest. It's a
That was
and,
that was
and
really big.
especially because I was a massive Duran Duran fan, and it was remember when we got that and we were offered it, and I'm a massive fan from back in the day, like the early Duran Duran stuff. So we've got to do it,
Yeah,
and we also
yeah,
had to reconstruct the song to make it like our own chorus out of the lyrics to give it that thing, and just did. But
yeah,
we loved this, and there's a little bit the beloved, the sun rising in there. There's no doubt about it. If you listen to the
Yes.
feel of it, but the feel of it, it was just it's got that it's that sort of thing you can see at a sort of sunset or sunrise. That been out all night, everyone's had
yeah.
a long night, and it's just like that's the sun's sort of rising. It's a lovely thing.
It
And
was
Yeah.
our first and only number one in America, Alan.
it was, yeah.
Really?
Billboard
Number
Dance.
one on the
Yeah.
Billboard Dance 100. Yeah.
No, well, actually, to be fair, but Best Thing was number one afterwards with the Morales mix as well.
All right. Okay. I didn't know that.
We had two.
Fantastic.
We pulled out those stops on that one, didn't we? It's quite short for a remix as well for us because we've done EMF and that's about 9 minutes long or something stupid. But that's only about 5.5 minutes long if I recall. I know we did different mixes, but we it's a very sort of sunset or sunrise type of tune that it's just got a lovely feel to it.
It's got us a little bit of cult following in the States, which is great. And but for the thing with Duran Duran is like what we were hot at the time. You know, you blow hot and cold in these scenes, and you know, I wish we were masters at work, but we're not. And it's just a moment in time where we everything we did in terms of remix, whether it was Baby June, Hey What's Your Name, or EMF, or Debbie Harry, it just lit up the dance floor, you know. And we were right there. We sort of, as you say, one foot in the clubs and with one eye on the charts, you know. So that's where we were. It was great.
So let's talk about the single then, guys. Kind of the genesis of it, what it means to you.
I was doing a pitch for Kylie Minogue. The original song was called Night Vision, and it was around the time she was doing Twisting Around. What was that song called?
Spinning around.
Um,
Spinning
Spin,
around.
Spinning
Yeah.
Around, that was it. And Kathy Dennis had done "Can't Get You Out of My Mind." I was kind of in that world doing pitches, and so I was asked by the A&R people. They said they wanted something very 80s, and I'd done that, and I had this sort of Superman Lover style sort of throaty guitar, and it was great. I played it to Alan, but I didn't play him the song. I just played him the intro, and he loved that, and he just went, "Look, that's warehouse parties, laser lights," and he really locked it down to that, and it took us on a totally different tangent. And the outcome is do it anyway. When we got to the chorus, it was like thinking about how laissez-faire we were, how willing we were to take a risk. We just wanted a party. We lived in the moment, and I suppose it's the modern day equivalent for us of did it my way, you know.